Some cars can see in the dark, some can move sideways, and one of them can park itself while you stand outside. This sounds fake, but it's not. In the 10th place, some luxury cars now come with built-in cabin fragrance systems that can spray designer scents into the cabin at the touch of a button. It sounds like something out of a futuristic spa, but the secret is hidden in the car's air conditioning. Tiny cartridges loaded with carefully crafted perfumes sit inside the ventilation system. When activated, a small pump or nebulizer pulls air through the cartridge, releasing a subtle mist that stays consistent no matter how hot or cold it gets outside. Drivers can choose from a menu of moods: citrus for a morning commute, leather and wood for a night out. The goal isn't just to mask the smell of old gym socks, it's about turning the car into a signature experience, almost like picking a playlist for your nose. But there is a catch. Cartridges only last a couple of months, and some drivers worry about allergies or distraction from strong scents. Still, over 70% of drivers say they prefer a subtle, natural aroma, and this feature is quietly changing what it means to step inside a high-end car. Next up, the countdown shifts from comfort to visibility, because what you see on the road is about to get a serious upgrade. Number 9. Adaptive headlights that actually steer with you. No, not in a science fiction movie, but on real roads. Adaptive headlights use sensors to track your steering and speed, pivoting the beams up to 15 degrees as you round a corner. The effect? It's like your car is peeking around the bend before you even get there, lighting up the path that normal headlights would leave in the dark. The newest versions go even further. Matrix LEDs can dim or brighten specific pixels, letting you blast the road with full power while automatically shading out just the spots that would blind oncoming drivers. In Germany, this tech has cut nighttime lane departure crashes by nearly a quarter. There is a catch, though. These systems can add well over $1,000 to the price tag, and a single diode failure can mean an expensive trip to the dealer. Still, as headlights get smarter, some automakers are already eyeing the next leap, swapping out mirrors for high-definition cameras. 8th place, side mirrors that aren't mirrors at all, just cameras beaming live video to tiny screens inside the car. At first, it sounds like a prank. You swap out trusty glass for a pair of digital eyes. But the science is real. These camera pods slice through the air, shaving about 0.02 off the car's drag coefficient, which might not sound like much until you realize it can mean a few extra miles of range on an electric drive. The real magic is in the view. Cameras can see a 150-degree sweep, catching cyclists and lane splitters that old mirrors miss. Some systems even heat the lens to shrug off fog or rain and process images so fast there is barely a hint of lag. Still, there is a catch. For many drivers, looking at a screen instead of a mirror feels awkward at first, and regulators in places like the US are still on the fence. But as hardware fades into software, the idea of a car seeing more than its driver is starting to feel less like science fiction and more like a preview of the next leap. A car that can park itself, no hands, no driver needed. Number 7. A car that parks itself while you stand outside, waving a key fob like a magic wand. It sounds like a prank from a sci-fi comedy, but remote self-parking is already rolling out in driveways and crowded parking lots. Here's how it works. A network of ultrasonic sensors, radar, and sometimes cameras scans the space around the car, building a real-time map. The car's computer calculates the path, then takes control of steering, gas, and brakes, all without anyone in the driver's seat. You just hold a button and watch as the car glides into a spot, squeezing into gaps most humans would never attempt. For anyone who dreads tight garages or icy mornings, it's a game changer. But there's a catch. You have to stay within about 10 meters, and if the sensors get blocked by snow or dirt, the system bails out. Minor mishaps do happen. About 0.5% of users report low-speed bumps or scrapes, and a few lawsuits have already made headlines. Still, With over 1 in 5 owners using remote park every week, the future of hands-off parking is here. Just don't wander too far. Coming up, the countdown shifts from parking tricks to a chassis move that bends the rules of turning. Number 6. The back wheels on some modern cars do not just follow, they steer. Rear wheel steering sounds like a sci-fi cheat code. At low speeds, the rear wheels can turn in the opposite direction of the front, letting a long sedan swing into a tight parking spot as easily as a compact car. The system relies on electro-hydraulic actuators working in sync with stability control to twist the rear wheels up to 5 degrees. The result is a turning radius that shrinks by as much as 25%, so parallel parking suddenly feels like a party trick. At highway speeds, the rear wheels pivot in the same direction as the front, smoothing out lane changes and reducing the risk of a swerve or spin. European crash studies found a 14% drop in high-speed cornering accidents on cars with this technology. But there is a trade-off. Rear wheel steering adds about $800 to the price tag, and for some drivers, the sensation of the car's back end helping can feel a bit uncanny. Still, it is a mechanical dance that sets the stage for something even wilder. What if all 4 wheels could move sideways? Number 5. A car that moves sideways. No, not just turning tighter, but actually sliding diagonally across a parking lot like a crab on the beach. It sounds like a special effect, but crab walk mode is real. Here is how it works. All 4 wheels can pivot together, with the rear wheels turning up to 5 degrees in sync with the front wheels. The result is the whole vehicle shuffles sideways without spinning around, making it possible to squeeze into impossible spots or dodge obstacles without a 3-point turn. This trick comes from a mix of old military patents and new electric actuators. What once powered off-road army trucks is now rolling into city streets thanks to modern electric vehicle platforms. There is a catch. In many places, the law had to be rewritten just to let cars drive at an angle. For first-timers, the sensation of drifting sideways can feel downright weird. Manufacturers even include practice tutorials before you are allowed to use it on public roads. Still, among city drivers, perceived usefulness jumps by over 40% after trying it. Next up, the countdown pivots from chassis magic to pure in-cabin indulgence, because the next feature is all about turning your seat into a rolling massage therapist. Number 4. Seats that need your back like a personal masseuse while you drive. It sounds like a spa on wheels, but massaging seats use a network of tiny pneumatic bladders or motorized rods hidden under the upholstery. At the push of a button, these actuators pulse in wave-like patterns, usually between 2 and 5 times per second, rolling pressure up and down your spine or across your thighs. Pressure sensors adjust the force to match your weight, and in some cars you can even pick from multiple massage zones or rhythms right from the touchscreen. The goal is to cut down on highway fatigue. In one university study, just 5 minutes of lumbar massage reduced driver tiredness by 12%. But there is a catch. All that comfort is not free. The system can draw up to 150 watts per session, enough to trim an electric car's range by 0.5% if you are a daily user, and a small number of drivers say the sensation feels weird or even uncomfortable. Still, with nearly 4 out of 5 owners using the feature at least once a month, massaging seats have quietly set a new bar for in-cabin indulgence. Next up, the countdown shifts from comfort to perception because the windshield itself is about to get a digital upgrade. Coming to the top 3, imagine driving down the highway and seeing glowing arrows, hazard warnings, or even navigation cues floating right on the windshield, lined up perfectly with the real road ahead. Augmented reality head-up displays make this sci-fi vision a reality. Instead of glancing down at a dashboard or fiddling with a phone, drivers get digital graphics projected about 10 meters in front of the car. Thanks to a laser phosphor projector and a clever optical waveguide, eye-tracking cameras make sure the overlays always stay in the right spot, even if you shift in your seat. The tech is sharp enough to cut glance time by half a second and, in road tests, has dropped lane-keeping errors by 19%. Adaptive brightness climbs as high as 2,000 candelas per square meter, but bright sunlight can still wash out the display, and the extra hardware can add thousands to the price tag. There is also a risk of clutter, because too much data layered over reality can overwhelm. Still, with every new rollout, the line between real and virtual keeps blurring. Next, the countdown shifts from digital overlays to a feature that physically transforms how a car feels on the road. In second place, picture a car that seems to glide over potholes and speed bumps like they are barely there. Active suspension turns that science fiction fantasy into reality. Instead of relying on old-school metal springs, these systems use electromagnetic or electrohydraulic actuators at each wheel, tiny machines that can lift or lower the car by up to 50 millimeters in a split second. Sensors and even forward-facing cameras scan the road ahead, letting the suspension brace for bumps before the wheels ever touch them. The result is a ride so smooth it feels like the car is hovering, and at highway speeds, the whole chassis drops closer to the ground to cut wind resistance, squeezing out an extra 3 to 5% in efficiency. But there is a catch. All that tech draws up to 400 watts at peak and needs liquid cooling to stop the coils from overheating, a lesson learned from the original Bose prototype that wowed crowds in the early 2000s, but only reached production once costs and heat were tamed. The price tag still limits this magic carpet feeling to high-end models, but as predictive algorithms get smarter, the line between car and spacecraft keeps getting thinner. And if that sounds futuristic, the next feature lets cars see things no human eye ever could. And finally, in first place, cars that can see in the dark, almost like something out of a superhero movie. Infrared night vision and pedestrian detection systems use thermal cameras to spot living beings hundreds of meters beyond the reach of headlights. Instead of relying on visible light, these sensors pick up heat signatures, so a person, a cyclist, or even a deer glows bright on a screen, even in pitch-black conditions or heavy fog. The latest systems draw glowing boxes around people and animals, triggering alerts or even automatic braking if someone steps into the road. In real-world testing, these setups have cut nighttime collisions by up to 35%, and new safety rules are pushing them into more vehicles every year. The tech isn't perfect. Warm pavement or reflective signs can sometimes fool the system, and the hardware still adds $2,000 or more to the price tag. But when the alternative is not seeing a person at all, the trade-off feels worth it. In a world where darkness still hides danger, this is as close as cars have come to superhuman vision, and for once, the sci-fi promise is real. Across all 10 features, one truth stands out. What once sounded impossible is quietly reshaping how we drive. Science fiction ideas are now solving real problems, step by step. The future is not arriving overnight. It is sneaking in through the dashboard. Which feature felt most unreal to you? Let us know below.